News at 6, working for you.
And WJCL bringing you new details on that Ebola scare that shook Savannah yesterday. Good evening to you. I'm Jennifer Andrews.
And I'm Kevin Holmes. As we told you yesterday, a patient who traveled to Nigeria recently checked into Memorial with flu-like symptoms. Doctors ruled out Ebola. WJCL's Chelsea McDonald is working for you with how EMS officials respond to these types of cases. Chelsea?
Yeah, when a young woman called 911 to report she was nauseous, had a fever, and recently returned from Nigeria, Southside firefighters put their Ebola plan into place. Firefighters didn't hesitate when a woman who had just came back from Africa called with possible flu-like symptoms.
When you put those two together, that puts us on our first front line red flag.
Firefighters rushed to the patient's house using precautions.
Make sure that we are covered and all skin is covered and body parts, and that we have protective equipment on and that our ambulance is protected.
They briefed the health department, CDC, and Memorial Hospital. Then they drove the patient to the hospital.
They talked with the health department and the CDC and questioned the lady through the ambulance with the doors closed and on where they weren't be exposed, and determined that she was not a risk for Ebola.
Then they removed her from the ambulance and took her inside. But the EMS Ebola plan and protocol didn't stop.
Somebody has to help you get your stuff off, and that person has to also be donned out too, so that nobody is touching anything that has been exposed to any patient.
Although the patient doesn't have Ebola, firefighters are proud of how they handled the situation.
And I feel like in those cases, you know, where we find out we have something else, they do have a little bit of fear in them. Everybody does, because this is a pretty scary thing with all of the deaths they've had over in Africa. But I feel like we take good care of our people, and we're going to make sure that they're safe.
Chelsea McDonald, WJCL News, working for you. The spokesman for Southside EMS says their firefighters and medics put their lives on the line every single day. Kevin and Jennifer.
That's true. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Chelsea. Meantime, the number of Ebola cases has gone up in West Africa. In a tweet today, the World Health Organization reported there are now 13,500 cases. Most of those are in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. It also reports the death rate is 70% in those countries. The death toll remains at just under 5,000.